everybody, we're here today at Mr. Tramps, and today we have Gary Gattis from Spacetime Studios. And welcome to the show, Gary.
Thank you, Donald. Appreciate it. Very nice to be here.
Right on. So now, how long have you been in Austin?
Lived in Austin since 1984.
Okay. Came
here in college and never left.
All right. Right on, man. Right on. So, if you want to explain really quickly what Spacetime Studios does,
sure.
Go for that.
Spacetime Studios, we're a mobile multiplayer game company now. We started off doing PC-based MMOs, very, very large-scale games for NCSoft.
Okay.
Scaled up, scaled down, games canceled, lots of tragedy in between, but we've ended up in kind of the cross-platform mobile space. So we build multiplayer games for iOS and Android.
Okay, all right, and you do a lot of the free-to-play games and things like that?
All free-to-play, all microtrans, yeah.
Okay, all right. So now, with free-to-play, you know, there's a bunch of talk about the free-to-play methods and tactics and things like that. Where do you think the free-to-play industry is going?
It's heading more and more into just the microtransactional development. So a lot of fun, but trying to monetize kind of along the way. I guess it was very much subscription based or pay for the SKU outright early on, and then it's just been moving more and more over into the free to play. So the current conventional wisdom is build a really, really fun game that people like to play a lot, and then build in some monetization strategies kind of on top of that.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay, so see, it's funny because I would always think that at the design of the game, you would design in the microtransactions from the jump.
Completely agree, but I think getting your core loop down and focusing on the core fun loop, whether it's like kill, loot, equip, or solve a puzzle or whatnot, is the primary thing. Because if people are not playing your game, then they're not going to stick around long enough to monetize.
Fun over money.
Fun over money. Right
on. And then the money comes.
And then the money, hopefully.
Right on. All right. So what's now? How long have you been doing games?
I got into games about 1990 or so.
Okay.
So in college. Started computer science, washed out of that. It was very difficult. Then went to the business school and washed out of that. That was very difficult as well. And then got into the School of Art and started doing some early computer graphic kind of stuff, and ended up getting my degree in sculpture, which is much to my father's chagrin. But really what it taught me was that I enjoyed being in a creative industry.
Yep.
So I got into it kind of at the CD-ROM multimedia phase back in the early 90s.
A CD-ROM, kids.
That's right.
It's a circle thing with data. They won't know.
No, they won't.
Yeah.
Those are all gone.
Well, cool. So now, with all of that time in the industry, what's been like your worst nightmare scenario, or like what's been the most crushing thing that you can speak about, and then what have you learned from it?
Sure. We started Spacetime in 2005 to build a really, really large-scale game for NCSoft. It was a $25 million, big global scale, ground and space, everything plus the kitchen sink kind of game. And this was our first company to do together. I have three partners, Anthony Summers, Cinco Barnes, and Jake Rogers.
Okay.
So the four of us started it together to build this thing, and scaled the company up to about 75 people or so. And then NCSoft shipped a couple of games that were not very well critically received, and Korea freaked out and pulled all the plugs out of North American development. So our game got canceled, and it was a soul-crushing experience at the time, because we put a couple of years of our lives into it, and it was something that we really thought was special. And then we went and shopped it around for about a year afterwards, and nobody picked it up either. So for a good 14 to 16 months or so, it was just being smacked in the face with failure, and it was a rough time. But we hung out and we stuck it out, and we were able to maintain ownership of the technology, which was about a $12 million client-server investment that we had made, and eventually we applied that to iOS and built Pocket Ledgends, which was the world's first 3D mobile MMO.
Okay.
So out of great adversity comes victory sometimes. So the thing that I learned from that was stick with it and keep swinging. If you're working with people that you like to work with and you're doing what you love to do, that in and of itself is a very precious thing. And so we did. We had a lot of persistence and kind of continued to hang out together until we found something that hit.
Right on, man. And hit it did.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. So now, in the backwards world, if you weren't doing video games, what would you be doing?
I think I'd be a forest ranger.
Say what now?
I think I would be a forest ranger. Well, so I love the outdoors,
Okay.
and this is what I would always tell my dad. My dad was encouraging me to take math and science kind of classes, and really, pretty heavy pressure. Although my father was a phenomenal influence in my life as well. But I was pressured to do some things, math and science, kind of in my early, like, high school kind of area, and I kept on asking him, well, what if I want to be a forest ranger instead, Dad? And he was very encouraging. He'd be the best forest ranger that you could be at that point in time.
Right on.
So I've tried to work in the enterprise software world. Vocationally, I've been doing games my whole career, but I'd had a brief dip out into enterprise software, and absolutely hated it. It was really grueling and brutal and not creative at all, and I didn't enjoy it at all either. So if I wasn't doing games, I think I'd probably be doing something outside of the software world.
Wow. All right.
I think Forest Ranger would be pretty cool.
I guess that could be cool.
Yeah.
I don't know if you like bugs and snakes.
Yeah. No, not for you.
No. And is couch potato a profession?
I think
I
think it could be. Yeah, professional gamers now are making quite a lot of money.
That is true. I need to work on my battlefield skills.
Yeah, I'm not good enough at that either.
Well, cool, Gary. I mean, thanks for your time. Thanks for coming by.
Pleasure.
I
Absolutely.
definitely appreciate it.
Cool.
Right on,
Donald.
man. It's been great.
Thank
so
you very
now,
much.
I will say one thing. A good friend of ours,
Yes?
Glenn Banton, asked me to give you something from him because he's not here. So I'm going to have to give that to you.
All right.
It's a hug.
Oh, John. I'll hug it out. Thanks.
Right on, man. All right. It's been a pleasure.
Always.
Looking forward to it.
Thanks, man.